But Krishna is no cowherd. He is born a prince, the son of Vasudeva and Devki, of royal lineage bound by blood and kin to the ruling houses of India. Krishna knew all along that his leela would pass. He had taken birth for a higher purpose, and without thinking twice, he abandoned Yashoda's maternal love. Radha was consigned to memory, and the gopis never revisited. The flute gave way to the chariot. Krishna knew courts, treaties, succession, and the mechanics of power as thoroughly as he knew music and play. When circumstances demanded it, leela gave way to dharma, to moral duty, responsibility, to detachment. He enters the tumultuous political world of Dwapar Yuga, an age remembered not as one of innocence, but one of imbalance, where strength outpaces wisdom, where power accumulates faster than restraint, and where moral clarity is repeatedly tested by ambition. The conflict he steps into is not foreign war, but family war. At the center of this world stand two branches of the same royal house, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, Krishna's cousins bound to him by blood and history. The Pandavas, 5 brothers, Yudhishthir the righteous, Bhim the strong, Arjun the peerless archer, Krishna's cousin but also his friend, and the twins Nakul and Sahadev, loyal and steadfast, are the rightful heirs by law and custom. The Kauravas, led by Duryodhan, ambitious, unyielding, entitled, are numerous and entrenched, hold power through manipulation rather than legitimacy. What begins as rivalry hardens into injustice when the Pandavas are dispossessed through deceit, trapped in a rigged game of dice, presided over as ritual but engineered as theft. Bound by the etiquette of the game and by his own commitment to royal honour, Yudhishthir continues to play even as loss follows loss. His kingdom, his wealth, his brothers, and finally himself. Each throw tightens the snare, until the law meant to safeguard order becomes the very instrument of its collapse. The final outrage comes when Yudhishthir stakes Draupadi and loses. Duryodhan, intoxicated by victory, orders his brother Dushasan to drag her into the court and disrobe her before the assembly. This is not merely cruelty, it is calculated assertion of absolute power. Draupadi, humiliated yet unbroken, stands alone in a hall of kings and elders and asks the question that freezes the court. Whom did Yudhishthir lose first? Himself or me? If he had already lost his own freedom, by what right could he stake hers? Her argument is precise, legal, and devastating. She does not plead for mercy, she demands judgment. No one answers. Bound by silence, by fear, by misplaced loyalty to procedure over justice, the court averts its gaze as Dushasan attempts to strip her dignity from her body. The Pandava brothers stand frozen, warriors who have faced gods and armies, now unable to act. Bound by the same code that trapped him in the game, they looked away, not out of indifference, but helplessness, their strength rendered useless by a law that has turned against justice itself. Only then does the full moral bankruptcy of the moment reveal itself. Dharma has not been violated by accident, but abandoned by consensus. Krishna recognizes immediately that this is no longer a personal grievance, nor merely a family dispute, but a political and moral crisis, one in which injustice, once permitted and ritualized, threatens to become precedent. A world that allows Draupadi to be disrobed in public cannot be corrected by private forgiveness. It must be confronted, dismantled, and remade. And into this fractured moral landscape he steps, not as claimant, not as conqueror, but as mediator, strategist and witness, determined first to exhaust peace before accepting what its failure will demand. Following their ordeal, Yudhishthir appeals to his cousin Krishna for guidance. As an emissary of the Pandavas, Krishna enters the Kaurava court not with threats but with restraint. Krishna is welcomed with formal honor, offered a seat befitting his presence. Niceties are exchanged and court protocol followed without fail. And Krishna does not come to demand restitution equal to what was taken, nor does he argue history or grievance. Instead, he asks for 5 villages, 1 for each brother, a claim so modest that it strips refusal of any moral defense. This request is rejected outright. Krishna understands that negotiation has reached its limit, and what now approaches is no longer avoidable. Fratricidal war. Stung by refusal turned into exposure through Krishna's shrewd political move, Duryodhana orders Krishna seized, mistaking restraint for weakness and diplomacy for submission. Duryodhana sneers and orders his guards to act. "Imprison this cowherd dressed in prince's clothes." Krishna, with a wrathful smile, dares Duryodhana. He says, "Ha Duryodhana, bandh mujhe. Come Duryodhana, bind me if you can, you fool. Bind me if you can. The earth itself rests against my chest. With my gaze existence is set. If you think me bound, then bind time, thought, birth and death. I am sound, Duryodhana, fate and depth. Break the planets in motion, hold wind and ocean. Bind heat and cold, love and despair. Bind countless ages, sins laid bare. Within me turn countless suns and stars. Within me reside Vishnu, Brahma and Mahesh. I am the source, the preserver, the end of flesh. Penitence, the very element of my breath. My body time giving meaning to death. All that is born comes from me. All that ends dissolves in me. Come, bind the unbound if you can. Ha Duryodhana, bandh mujhe. Come Duryodhana, I dare you, bind me if you can. Amid insult and disbelief, Krishna suddenly reveals the Sudarshan Chakra, the golden discus, the blazing weapon of Vishnu, leaving the assembly stunned by how a cowherd's hand could summon such a cosmic force. Needless to say, Krishna left the audience, untouched, unbound, and unrestrained. Armies begin to move. From every corner of India, kings and clans march, not for conquest, but for alignment. Old oaths are remembered, old enmities sharpen, old debts are called in, old friendships fracture under the weight of obligation. From Shakuni of Gandhar, uncle to the Kauravas and bearer of inherited grievance, through the warriors of the Kamboj kingdom to the Pandya king of the far south, and even the mythic reaches of Uttarakuru beyond the Himalayas. From the east and west, from forests, plains, and kingdoms by great rivers, armies assemble, chariots, elephants, infantry, each banner heavy with memory. All of it converges on one plain, Kurukshetra. This is no ordinary ground. Kurukshetra becomes Dharmakshetra, a sacred field of war. Centuries of conflict compress themselves into a single place, as though history itself has chosen a stage.